Bastet's been in planning since 2014. It's been a long road. We've been getting our beer in front of anybody that was willing to drink it, and we built quite a following. So it's nice to see this coming finally to fruition.
Bastet is brewing all kinds of styles of beer right now, but we're mainly focusing on things that we find interesting and unusual. A lot of our inspiration comes from fermentation that's happening in other cultures. We've done a kvass that has a Russian origin. We've done a Finnish recipe that is inspired by sima, which is a traditional recipe from Finland. And we've done tepache, which is a traditional Mexican ferment. Craft beer became a passion for me when I was pretty young, when I discovered beer, really. My friends were drinking your standard case of beer that I had no interest in, and I was that weird guy that always had a six-pack of Guinness because I wasn't interested. I didn't like what everybody else was drinking. So my trajectory into craft beer was, now that I'm in the business and working with other people in craft beer, maybe not so unusual, but in my crowd it was at the time. I was interested in things that Germany was doing, for instance. I drank a Hefeweizen that was completely unique to me. I had no idea that there was beer like this, and it was nowhere near your standard 24-pack of something light.
I didn't have a really good introduction into good beer, but you know, it took me bartending a party one time when I was just barely old enough to drink, and I tried Bitburger Pills. So my journey started in Germany, just like his. I had that Pilsner, and it was just like the big box Pilsners that I've had, but it was 10 times better. So that ignited a passion in me that got me started in trying new things from other cultures.
I think what sets apart Bastet from our peers is our interest in what other cultures are brewing. We've always looked to what other people do for inspiration, whether it's a kvass from Russia, whether it's sima from Finland, whether it's tepache from New Mexico. We're looking for something out of the ordinary to give us inspiration. And those are the kind of things that we'd like to put in front of people, because most people have not even heard of that kind of stuff. So I think what sets us apart from other brewers is where our inspiration comes from.
We've been brewing a ton of stuff. Most important are cores, which we want to make sure those are in tip-top shape when it comes to opening our doors. But we've also been experimenting with other things like a kvass, you know, a typical Russian ferment. Like we said, we're extremely interested in other cultures, and I think that's important for anybody to kind of go outside their comfort zone and try other things. I mean, that's what life is about. You know, variety is the spice of life. So we feel the same way when it comes to our beers. We don't only want to have a pale ale on or a stout on. We want to have those, but we want to, in addition, have some kind of crazy things. And I think that's what we've kind of become as our mantra. So essentially, Tom and I are both foodies, so we're really into food and other culture food and other rare ingredient, like we said before. So we really incorporated that when we come to building our recipes, and it's received well with our fan base. They know that's kind of our shtick, and I think we deliver it well, and I think it's like I said, I think it's well received, and I think that kind of sets us apart from the other breweries.
We've done a couple of unusual ingredients with beer. Again, flavor things that I haven't seen in other beers, that go shopping around looking for something unusual. What I found was a citron fruit called Buddha's hand. It looks like a big hand that's yellow in color. It's very lemony in aroma and flavor. We also do a honeydew saison. So we're using everything from fruit to spice in our beers. It makes good for people that are flavor fanatics.
Absolutely, and I agree with that. You know, we tend to touch on, we get inspiration from everywhere. You know, whether it's from the Asian market or like a farmer's market, we tend to pick unusual spices. I've done a mango beer with saffron. Like, who would think to put saffron in beer? You know, that's what makes your yellow rice turn yellow. But this beer came out amazing. You know, so we tend to go off the beaten path when it comes to building our recipes and the flavor profile. And I think what helps us is that we have food backgrounds, and we've been cooking since we were little, and that translates really well in the beers, especially when you're taking these aggressive moves. We're using ingredient that people just don't want to touch because it's too daunting.
So craft beer in Florida still has plenty of room for growth. Right now, beer in Florida is probably a quarter of what it is in states like Colorado in breweries per capita and gallons per 21 and over adult. Florida's lagging behind the rest of the country, so Bastet Brewing feels like it's getting in at a good time in the state of Florida.
Absolutely. We're one of the fastest growing states in the industry, but like he touched on just now, there's a lot of room for growth. There's a huge market, and there's a huge amount of consumers that are there to fill those chairs of new breweries opening.
The location we're building our brewery at is going to be 6,000 square feet. We've got about 3,000 square feet of brew house and a tap room connected to that with a large outside beer garden, because let's face it, Florida's got great weather and everybody likes to drink a beer outside in the summer, right? So we'll have a nice beer garden outside where people can relax and have a beer.
My name is Tom Ross. My name is Houston Lett, and we are co-founders of Bastet Brewing.